Yeah, hello to the MStrat CPC community. I just wanted to let you know that I revised my expansion backplane for the CPC, right? So I called it the MegaLambda X6 because it has 6 MX4 compatible expansion slots. And so yeah, the previous version is already on GitHub, right? And I got quite a number of downloads by now. I think 30 or 40 folks so have cloned the project by now. So seems that you guys like it. So, but I figured, well, we can still make it a little bit better. And one thing that I added in this version, in this revision now, is the capability to disable or enable individual expansion cards, right? So for each slot I now have the IO select 01 switch here, which allows you to turn off the IO request signal from the CPC, right? So you can turn it off, then it's being tied to 5 volts, right? So it's a low active signal. The card gets disabled then, or you can turn it on, then of course it gets just connected to the CPC IO request line. Other than that, there are no big changes, right? I mean, now I have PCB labels for the different slots just so that it looks a little bit nicer. Everything is identical. You still have the edge connector pass-through for legacy hardware such as a classic Decatronix speech synthesizer or the MStrat DDI1 disk controller, right, for the 3-inch disk drive. It also has the pin header edge pass-through port like the Mother X4. Yeah, and so here you see it, right, and it's now quite easy to turn on and off individual expansion cards thanks to this little switch. And I can zoom in here a little bit so you can see it better. But so here I have Flash Gordon from PyComandy, right? And there you can see the IO select on-off switch, right? And currently it's turned off, right? So, and now let me just turn it on. And that's of course the main reason to do this is that you don't have to unplug the expansion cards all the time, right? And there you see it now, the ROMs are listed, so it's enabled. Good. And that's of course primarily useful not only to, you know, save your MX4, those IDC female pin headers from being used a lot, right, from plugging and unplugging extension cards all the time, but also some cards actually share IO ranges, right? And you can only have one active at a time. So for example, here I have Lambda Speak FS as well as the Ultimate MIDI board, and both are listening to the same IO port, right? So because I didn't want to be greedy with my hardware developments and grab so much of the IO address range, right, for my expansions. Because, you know, interoperability and playing nicely with other expansion cards is of course also a concern. So you shouldn't be a port address range hog, so to speak, right? So now that we have the ROM enabled, right, from the Flash Gordon, right, we have the Lambda Speak ROM by TFM. We can then use RSX commands like say date. I hope the battery of the real-time clock is still set. July 28, 2023. That's correct. Also the time should be
1 o'clock, 47 minutes and 10 seconds.
Well, almost correct, yeah. I guess I need to set the clock again. Or the battery is getting a little bit weak. Haven't used it in a while. So, say you wanted to play a song now from the Ultimate MIDI card, right? And you load basically from the DDI3 one of the songs basically here. Let me do that. And then you of course immediately see the problem, right? Because the address range is shared between the Ultimate MIDI card and Lambda Speak FS. So we run song here. The speech synthesizer starts to talk. Do playback. And you see that didn't go too well, right? So what I gotta do is now turn off Lambda Speak FS and turn on the Ultimate MIDI board instead. And then we try that again, right? On and off. Sometimes it also helps to power cycle the whole thing. There you go. Maybe in another version I also add a power switch, but you could also get like one of those 5-volt wall warts that already have a power switch in the cable. That's also quite useful. Okay, fire it up again. Let me select the song disc again here so that we can hear something, and hopefully this time the ultimate MIDI card will play us a song. Playback. That works quite well, right? And even while it's running, you can simply turn off the I/O request line, right? Of course, the CPC doesn't mind, you know, it just continues playing. And let's turn it back on. Yeah, alright guys, so you get the idea and I hope you find it useful. Until then, take care, bye.